They could not sleep. Ivan Ivanitch, a tall, gaunt, old man of 60, with a long moustache, was sitting by the door of the shed smoking his pipe. The moon shone full on his face. Borkin lay inside on the straw, and in the darkness could not be seen. They touched on various topics. Among other things, they talked about the elder's wife, Mavra. She was healthy and not at all stupid, yet she had never in her life been out of the village, nor had she seen a town or a railway station. For the last 10 years, she had sat at home by the stove all day and come out only at night. There is nothing astonishing in that, Borkin remarked. There are many people in the world who are solitary by nature, and who try to withdraw into their shells, like a crab or a snail. It may be a type of atavism, a reversion to the time when our forefathers were not yet social animals, but lived alone in caves. Or perhaps it is merely one of the many aspects of human character. Who knows? Of course, I am not a scientist. It is not my business to bother about such questions. But it seems to me that people like Mavra are not rare in this world. Here is an example. About 2 months ago, there died in our town a certain man by the name of Belikov, a Greek master and colleague of mine. Perhaps you have heard of him. He was distinguished by the fact that even in fine weather, he invariably went about wearing galoshes and a padded overcoat and carrying an umbrella. His umbrella was always in a sheath, and his watch in a grey leather pocket. When he brought out his pocket-knife to sharpen his pencil, that too was in a case. Even his face seemed to be in a case, as it was always hidden inside his high collar. He wore dark spectacles, a comforter, and cotton wool in his ears. When he took a cab, he always asked the driver to put up the hood. In a word, this man was constantly striving to envelop himself, to make a case for himself, so to speak, that would protect him from all outside influences. Reality irritated and frightened him, and held him in a perpetual state of anxiety. It may be that in order to justify his timidity, his dislike for reality, he always praised the past and things that had never existed. The dead languages that he spoke were at bottom no more than the galoshes in which he hid himself from the realities of life. "How beautiful and musical the Greek tongue is," he would say, with a sentimental expression, and as though to give proof to his words, he half closed his eyes and raised one finger when he pronounced the word anthropos. His thoughts, too, Belikov tried to enclose in a case. The only thing he could clearly understand was circulars prohibiting something or other, and articles of the same nature. If a circular forbade a boy to be out in the street after 9 o'clock in the evening, or an article spoke against the love of the flesh, then for him it was quite clear and definite. Something was forbidden, and there was an end to it. To him there was always a doubtful element about positive decision and permission, something unutterably lazy. If a theatrical society was formed in the town, if a reading were arranged or a tea party made up, he would always shake his head and say quietly, "This is all very fine, but I am afraid something or other may happen." Any transgression or departure from the ordinary rules of convention made him feel wretched, though one might have wondered what it could possibly matter to him. If one of his colleagues happened to be late for morning prayers, if he heard of the pranks of some boy or other, if one of the mistresses was seen walking in the evening with an officer, he became hugely excited and would go about saying something or other was sure to happen. At our staff conferences, he oppressed us with all his cautiousness and suspiciousness, his stereotyped precautions regarding the boys' and the girls' school. He would complain that the boys behaved badly and were noisy in class, that it might get to the ears of the principal and that something or other would happen. That if Petrov of the 2nd form and Yegorov of the 4th were expelled, then things might be better. What did we think? With his sighs and lamentations, his smoked glasses on his tiny pale face, a face as small as that of a polecat, he oppressed us all.